Alright, let's continue. So I'm going to select the head and hit the S key just to see. And let's go to the geometry and come over here and let's click on the Dynamesh. Now once I click on it, just focus on this gap. So let me click and there we go. Notice the gap has automatically been filled. That is because Dynamesh doesn't like holes. So it automatically filled the holes for you. So if you're planning to make a hole, make sure there is no Dynamesh that you are using. Otherwise it's going to be filled with the Dynamesh. However, over here, I'm going to smooth out these edges over here. So I'm going to hold on Shift and I'm going to decrease the intensity of the smooth over here. So I'm still holding the Shift and let me decrease the draw size and just smooth it out the corners over here. There we go. Not bad. Let's hit S. Now there's a gap, that is fine. Later on we're going to fix that gap. But I'm going to hold on Alt and tap on it. And let's click on Dynamesh. So let's do all the way. Let's hold on Alt and tap, Dynamesh, Alt and tap, Dynamesh, Alt tap, Dynamesh, Alt tap, Dynamesh, and the last one, Alt tap, Dynamesh. There we go. Now we can see those lines, but like I said, later on we're going to merge them all together. But right now we are focusing on part by part. So I'm going to start with the jawline over here. So if I hold on Alt and tap, let's hit the W key over here. And if you notice, this is my gimbal, or you can say manipulator. Now if I hold on Alt, I can move its pivot to the jaw and then let it go the Alt. Let's zoom in. Now with this ring, I can rotate, slightly rotate them. Maybe I'm going to hit undo and hit Alt and maybe just a little bit down. Just rotate like that. So it comes nicely. There we go. Let's hit the Q key so we can come to the brush and hold on Shift just to clean the edges. There we go. All the way. There we go. If I hit the S key, you can see the jaw, and let's clean it over here as well. Let me hit the 2 for the clay buildup, and let's sculpt in for the jaw. Just hold it on Alt and just sculpting around all the way. There we go. Not bad. You just go down, hold it on Shift, smooth it out these corners, and just sculpt out this corner over here. There we go. Let's re-Dynamesh. Not bad. Hit the S key. Hit the W key for the move tool. And I can move this. You can also use these buttons. Now, whichever button you use, it doesn't matter, because in one manipulator you get move, the scale, and rotate, so it doesn't matter. Just placing on the right place, maybe almost here. There we go. Hit the Q. Let's come over here to the head. Just sculpt it out like that. Let's hit the S key for the solo and just sculpt it out inside. Now later on we're going to add the gums and the teeth over here. Just filling the gaps over here. There we go. A little bit smooth out. Alt. There we go. Let's clean it up to the corners. Hit the S. Alt and just loosely giving the shape out of it. Just a little bit. Following the anatomy, I'm using the reference side by side as well. Make sure your reference is on the side. There we go. Hold on Alt and let's give it a little bit of shape. Now in this scenario, I can use the reference as well. If I turn off the perspective and turn on the floor, I can see the reference as well. So hold on Alt and just move it a little bit. Just a little bit guideline over here. However, it's just for the side pose. Now, also want to make sure that in the perspective, I'm going to turn on the perspective. And now I'll just keep it on actually. Because in real life, you are actually seeing from the perspective. There is no orthographic in the real world. So you want to keep that in mind that you are sculpting in the perspective. That actually helps, you know. Let's keep it continue. And just checking from the 3/4 angles. These are the 3/4 angles. So it starts from here and here. That is a completely side view. That is a back view. But if I come over here, that is the 3/4 view. And there's a little bit bump that I need to take it out. Maybe we can use a little bit move tool to extend the jaw. Just close enough. There we go. So if I hit the F key, I can focus on the subject, or let's say the tool. As you can see. Start with the legs, just smooth it out the corners. I'm just giving some volume over here. There we go. Now notice that I'm using the low poly right now. I'm not increasing the resolution right now. And that is the base. This is how you actually do. You don't want to go all the way high resolution. You don't want to give all the details until you have a nice muscle flow, the base. Always try to keep it low as much as possible, because in that way you have much control, and that's what you wanted. So try to keep it low in the beginning. Once you have the flow, once you have all those muscles, a little bit, just a volume of that, then you can increase the resolution and start working on the skins and all those details as well. But just for the beginning, keep it low, give some volume. Like for this one, if you see over here, I want to add the muscles over here. I'm just adding the volume over here. Now if you notice over here, there's something wacky going on. I'm going to hit the S key, and if I sculpt over here, it's actually kind of acting weird, and that is because the mesh or these polygons are way too thin. We need to add some resolution into it. The trick is, let me undo it. It's way too thin, so I'm going to hit the B key and I, and let's select the inflate brush, and we're going to inflate this area all the way like that. And actually I'm going to give some volume as well, because I need a muscle over here. There we go. I'm going to hold down Control and drag to redynamesh, and you can see now we have some volume over here. The base thing is that we have a thickness for the mesh. I can use the move brush and maybe hold down Shift, just smooth it out some areas. Hit the F key, a little bit zoom out. Make sure it's not coming out. Using my move brush, pulling it in. Hold down Alt to reverse the move brush like that. Hit the S key to smooth it in. And just the clay buildup, just cleaning out the corners. There we go. And again, just keep adding the volume. This goes a little bit lighter, or maybe this goes a little bit up. Hit the S key. There we go. Redynamesh. Okay, now I can combine the tail and the torso. So how are we going to do this? Let's go to Subtool. And this is the body right now, and this is the tail. And you can see there's a gap in between them. So first thing first, I need to make sure that this body and the tail are close. So I'm going to select the tail and click on this button. It goes up, and now you can see we have the body and the tail. Then I'm going to select the body, and let's go to the merge, and there's a section called merge down, and make sure it's not undoable. So you want to make sure that you are already confirmed, you're ready to go, then you're going to hit OK. So I'm going to hit OK, and there we go. If I hit the S key, you can see it becomes a one mesh. Now it cannot be undo, remember that. If you do this undo, it's going to act weird. So make sure that you don't use the undo right now. I'm going to hold down Control and drag to combine the mesh. Like I said, Dynamesh doesn't allow the holes, so it automatically fill the holes automatically for you. So it did. So I'm going to hit the S key, Just smooth it out this area. Maybe a little bit clay buildup. Just because it looks like a seamless, there's no seam or there's no line into it. I'm going to increase the intensity of the smoothing all the way to 100. And there we go. Can just keep in sculpting on it. It takes a lot of patience that you need to keep in mind. It takes time. But the more time you spend, the more you learn. That's the beauty of it. Just keep adding it. Just giving a little bit volume over here. And smooth it out. Let's turn on the floor. See how it looks. Looks fine. I'm going to add a little bit muscles over here. A little bit giving a shape, just a little bit for the rib cage. Now these are the bony landmarks which we created for the rib cage that show us, okay, this is the rib, this is where the abdomen area is coming out. This is where the deltoids comes, which are the shoulders. Just come down and just add the volume into it. Pelvis. Now the ending looks like very kind of a similar C-130 Hercules plane, where the plane have the exit. So if I turn off the perspective and turn on the floor, if you match it, there's a little bit gap, so I'm just going to fill the gap with the move tool. Coming over here, just like that. There we go. Now you don't need to worry about you have to go exactly the same, but just close enough. There we go. Let's turn off the floor and turn on the perspective. Smoothing. Not so bad, just cleaning up the edges and smoothing out these harsh, rough edges, which is actually good sometimes. It gives you the texture and the muscle flow that you wanted. Again, adding the bony landmarks, just a little bit smoothing. And it gives me some muscle flow over here, as you can see. There we go. Hit the S key to Clean up this edges. There we go. Let's add some more geometry over here. There we go. And there we go. Now it starts looking like a velociraptor. We are getting some base shapes over here. Now again, like I said, we're going to covering the legs, the hands and the neck, especially the head, which is the important. So I'm going to stop it right now and we're going to continue in the next video. So meet you over there.